universe, where you learn the secrets of the social universe through the social media, through the social universe, and in many cases you learn the secrets of the universe itself. Today we are talking a lot about IT, or information technology, with our guest Rusty McCurdy, who is the owner and president of MMS Systems, and we're learning about the I would definitely want to say that it's exciting, but it's exciting only when it's applicable. So, for example, let's say you own a restaurant, and it is Friday at 6:30, high time, and you are cranking in the customers, and your POS system goes down because it couldn't find the IP address, and your router wasn't programmed properly, or somebody kicked it and you didn't know the password to be able, and disconnected it, and all the power went down. Now all of a sudden you have 300 restaurant patrons that are angry at you and aren't going to return. IT becomes a very exciting subject at that moment in time. So lest you think that this is not an exciting show, it is. All right. So Rusty, tell us a little bit about what the government tells us. Well, actually, that might be, we might want to save that for next segment. Tell us a list of some of the other services that you provide that especially small and mid-sized business owners would find it very important for them to utilize you and your company.
Okay, you bet. I would tell you the first and probably the primary service that any small business needs to look at is that you need to have qualified IT available when you need it. The biggest challenge that you have for a small business is a lot of IT companies are going to want to lock you into some type of a contract and have you spend a certain amount of money. Now that may or may not be in your budget. We worked with a lot of small clients who that just doesn't fit their budget, but they still have the same technology needs, not as large of a scale obviously, but they still have the same technology needs that any larger enterprise does also. So we've developed a program that is what I call our large company help desk at a small company price. Clients can access our live client help desk, get the help that they need, be billed in a 15-minute increment, and only pay for the time that they use. So now if that's a client that means that calls once a month or once every other month, they're going to get the same attention and focus that a larger client does as well. They also have access to our experts in terms of helping them understand how they can utilize technology or maximize that technology investment that they have to run their businesses better. Seek that counsel and recommendations before they go out and invest in more technology, only to find out that what they already have has that available, they just didn't know how to use it. And so that's the first thing I would tell you, that's the first service we have, is just that what I would call basic IT support.
If I could kind of throw some weight behind that. At the year 2000, I was getting involved in the real estate boom, and I had about 150 employees that worked for me, and I needed IT services. So I decided that I would go on a budget, and I had a almost graduated IT student who convinced me that he knew as much as any of the practitioners out there. So very good interview. It was very exciting because he knew so much, which was so much more than me, and not very much, I found out later. So anyway, when it came time for him to configure our server, he was so excited. He said, just buy me some bunch of Red Bull and leave me overnight, and we'll get this thing going. Next morning, he had a scared look on his face, so we asked him if the office was haunted. He said no, but the network is. So here's an example. It took him a week, and he finally gave up, and so we were completely crippled for an entire week. If you can imagine having 150 employees crippled for an entire week over the fact that I was trying to save a little bit of money and hiring an intern instead of either an IT staff. Even if you have an IT guy who, as you hire him, you realize he doesn't know as much as I thought he did, having somebody that he could call, my intern actually could have called and been billed in 15-minute increments, and just to be able to know a few things on how to configure that server, I'll bet you it would have been maybe an hour of time over a week, where he just needed 50 minutes of help here and there. It would have unraveled his problem.